Buckle up. And welcome to Musicians and Beyond, where we bring you the backstage info on the life, the lyrics, and the long journeys of the music industry. This is John Sarabian, and we are in studio with Mark Lawhorn and a very special guest. Mark, what's going on?
Hello, John. How are you?
Mark, I'm doing good. It looks like you had quite a few crazy days with your military friends.
Yeah, just drove back up last night from Pittsburgh. We had a large group of us assembled down there after some I haven't seen in 35 years. So it was kind of nice to get back together and pick up right where we left off.
Awesome. And you played the national anthem from our last guest, Shanna Jackman.
We played the national anthem. We sang God Bless America. We swam in the pool a lot, and we had a lot of fun catching up. Cornhole tournaments, spade cards tournaments. I don't know if you've ever played spades at the
No, I don't know how to play cards.
Oh, well, it's a military thing, the spades game.
All right.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, we thank you and all of the military personnel, past, present, and future, for what you do for the United States of America.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mark. I am so excited today to have this guest, and her story is unbelievable and so inspirational.
Well, we are definitely looking forward to having this conversation, and there's a lot that's going to come out of it, a lot of good background here that when you find out who this woman has played with, you're in for a treat.
Well, let's welcome her. Let's welcome Valerie Giglio. Welcome, Valerie.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, this is fun. You get a lot going on lately. You get a new duo, I hear.
Yes, I do. I absolutely do. I just started a new duo with my songwriting partner. It's Electro Swing. We're called Starlight Vibes, and we'll be doing a lot of performing and songwriting very soon.
Great. We're looking forward to hearing what you get to show.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to sharing it.
Valerie, who's your duo partner?
Oh, Samuel Chera. He is a vibraphonist from Calabria.
Oh, beautiful.
And he's in Boston now at the moment.
What is a vibraphonist?
Well, he plays the vibraphone, and basically it's a large mallet instrument. Lionel Hampton. Are you familiar with Lionel Hampton? Yeah, Lionel plays the vibes. Similar to, I guess, a xylophone. Similar, but not in the same family.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. That sounds like it would be a great mesh with your beautiful voice in that vibraphone.
Thank you. Yes, we've actually released several songs. We've been working together for almost 2 years, and we've released several singles under my name featuring Samuel. And now we've decided to make it official and an electro swing duo. So we're going to be performing soon, and I'll be updating my my website with a bunch of different dates, and I'm really excited.
And what is that website?
It's ValerieGiglio.com.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm. And you can find me on Facebook, which is on Instagram, Facebook, all my socials, just my name, Valerie Giglio.
So your genre is electro swing.
Yes.
What really is that? That's like a jazz and swing combination?
What it is a retro jazz and swing combined with electronic dance music, current EDM. And so it's a very interesting combination, and it's very popular in Europe. Actually, United States, it has been growing in popularity, with the swing dance competitions and so forth. And I know a lot of those swing dance competitions would go for the traditional, but this is something new. I mean, it's a new genre, maybe not new, but
A modernized
type of genre. And it's great because you get the best of both worlds. You get the updated electronic dance music, and then you have it combined with the old-time swing and jazz and traditional instruments, which is why the vibraphone works perfectly with that.
Right. Yeah, watching your videos, Mark and I have watched your videos and listened to your music, and it's got like the 40s, 50s vibe.
Yes.
And your look in the videos, too, you have that 40s, 50s vibe going on.
Yes, it's a very retro-inspired sound and style, so
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And it's fun to listen to.
Oh, that's really what it's all about.
Yeah,
Electro
everything's
swing.
positive about it. It's all
Everything.
upbeat. There's no,
Yeah.
like some of those country songs when they lose their dog and,
Yeah, no.
their wife leaves.
We want something that people feel good about and feel positive and happy when they listen to it.
Yeah, and it works.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those listening at home, as Valerie just mentioned, you can find more about her music, hear some samples, and catch up on the dates that she'll be at. at ValerieGiglio.com, and that's ValerieGiglio.com.
Yes,
Valerie, you're a musician by night
yes,
and a lawyer by day.
yes, I am.
What an interesting combo.
Yes, it's quite interesting. Actually, I've always been a musician my entire life since I was a child in school. I've always done music and dancing, singing, playing instruments, and I wanted to go to school for something not in music, and I wanted to always have that music to have in my life. And then with the actual lawyering profession is just, I guess something to fall back on, if you can say that. So I've been an attorney for a long time now, and I love that I can do that during the day, and then I can just perform at night or work on my music, or I have that whole, really two different lives.
It's nice to have that creative escape from your day job.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a criminal defense attorney.
You've been on stage with quite a few big names. Al Vega.
Oh, yes, I was one
My
of his,
God.
yes.
Wow.
I know, Al Vega, I was one of his singers for several years until he passed at the age of 90 back in 2011, I believe.
And an absolute legend.
Yeah, it was the most amazing thing. He really got me where I am now, really. He was the impetus behind that because, I had been singing in band. I'd been, obviously I was trained and I played violin and I did all these other things. And performing, I was in different bands, a blues band, a rock band, this and that. But when I met Al, then I really started to get into performing the jazz standards. And it was just incredible. And listening to Al, and I will never forget this, the first time I went into Al's studio, because I met him because I wanted to take some piano lessons to accompany myself. And, my friend who owned a music store, worked at a music store at the time, said, "Oh, why don't you call Al Vega?" And I said, "Oh, okay." I didn't even know who he was at that point. So then of course, my parents knew him, and my grandparents knew him, and they said, "Oh, Al Vega." So I called him up, and I went into his studio, and we were doing that, and I told him I was a singer. We were performing, practicing, different tunes. And then he says to me, "Well, what do you know?" And I said, "Well, I can do God Bless the Child by Billie Holiday. We can do that right now for practicing." And he says, "Oh, yeah." Well, he goes, let's do it the way I did it with Billie." And I looked at him and I said, "What did you just say?" Yeah.
Those are some shoes to fill sitting in with
I
them.
know, yeah. And so those are the stories that he had. He was a friend of Duke. He called him Duke, with Duke Ellington.
Yeah.
He was a friend of many, many people. I just remember stories about him with Dinah Washington, Liberace, in Vegas. Just every name you can imagine he
Wow.
either performed with, because, when they had these people come to town, then he would back them to be a session, musician.
Mm-hmm.
Nina Simone, he played with Nina Simone, so.
Wow. What an honor for you to be able to be part of that whole thing.
Yes, he was my mentor, and I am so eternally grateful. It was it was beyond an honor for me to be in his presence, and he was just amazing. Just one of the best people ever. I'm really glad that I got to spend those years with him that I did. And as a result, it's really catapulted me to the rest of my music career.
Well, there's a part of you that's incredibly inspiring. For the people at home listening, it's really unbelievable. So you've been a musician since the age of what?
Teaching myself how to play the organ when I was like in the second grade. And then I started then I started with violin in the fourth grade, I think. Yeah, I was really little and I started.
Yeah, you were little when you started.
Mm-hmm.
Your career was taking off. You were doing great. You were filling rooms. People were, dancing to your music. And then this day came in 2014
Yes.
and dropped a bomb on you
Yes.
and literally made you wheelchair bound.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What happened?
I was just getting ready to perform in Italy. I was going with Berklee College of Music to the Umbria Jazz Clinic, which is a 2-week study in Italy, and I had done it the year before, so I was getting ready to do that. I was also getting ready to perform in Chick Singer Night in Boston. It's a showcase. And so I had all these things coming up, and I had recently performed in Malta, not that far back, and I turned my neck one morning, and I got a really bad neck pain, a really severe neck pain that didn't go away. And it stayed that way for several days. And I went to the hospital thinking it was, I started to get scared that I had meningitis or something like that. And they said, oh no, you just pulled your neck out and whatever, and that was it. And then I came home and I had a stroke. And so I was paralyzed completely on my left side, and I lost my ability to sing. In the hospital, there was no way to actually check my vocal cord for paralyzation at that time because I had so many other things going on. But I really couldn't sing at all. Physically, I could not sing.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had to relearn everything, essentially. Yeah, so I just went I was completely wheelchair-bound, paralyzed,
Wow, what a difference 24 hours makes.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
So you had this stroke that, paralyzed you, literally.
Yes.
Was your singing and music career part of your inspiration of getting better?
Oh, absolutely. But at first, I couldn't believe that this had happened to me. I mean, it was in shock. It was so ridiculous because I had been myself just a day before, as you say. So what I had always done, if something was wrong with me or if I didn't feel good or something, sometimes I would always sing at last. I would sing, and I knew that if I could do that, then I was okay. I don't know, it was something that I would always kind of have in the back of my head. Maybe if I had a sore throat or something. So I remember singing that in ICU, and it was just so I could not even carry a note. Absolutely.
Wow.
I had no ability so I was really to say I was devastated was it's a complete understatement. And I remember in Spalding Rehab, because they transferred me to Spalding Rehab, and where I stayed for months, and I remember I had music therapy in an occupational therapy class. And keep in mind, the occupational therapy class that I had, everybody else is in their 70s, 80s, and then here I am, I remember they had a music therapist, wonderful guy, and he was really trying to get everybody involved, and he passed out these little things, one of those cups or something like that, and people were or maybe a tambourine, and then he was okay, all together we're going to do this. And I just I just burst into tears because I'm I cannot believe that I am doing this right now in a preschool type of music class, and I'm a professional musician. I
Right,
just
right.
can't even.
Had to be
Yeah.
terribly frustrating.
Yeah, it was. And then, later on during the class, he was doing Name That Tune, and I said, okay, I better stop now because I was getting everything, and then nobody else could answer. And I would be oh, yeah, Beatles, or something, whatever it was,
Wow. Well, you've come a long way from, starting out at a young age,
Yes.
really doing good, getting thrown this curveball, hitting the ball out of the park, and now you're back at it better than ever.
Well, yes. I mean, I had to, before my stroke, I released a couple of CDs, and I became a member of the Grammys, and I got to go to the Grammy Awards and so forth, and in performing these, I was really trying to build up my career, and it was looking like I was definitely headed that way, where I could eventually maybe wouldn't have to be a lawyer anymore, and then this happened, and then I couldn't do anything for years, so.
Wow.
One of
Yeah.
the things that strikes me most about, it's a blessing that you've been able to bounce back and perform again. You've regained your voice, but it's also what you've used your voice to do outside of music.
Yes.
As an advocate for stroke victims and taking that on at the same time as trying to recover for yourself.
Yes, absolutely. That's a very important part of my recovery, too. And I'm very happy and so honored that I was able to do that. So I work with the American Heart Association. I'm an advocate, a legislative advocate, but also I have done many other things for them because they know I'm a singer. So I sang the national anthem on the Esplanade for the Heart Walk. I sang at the Bruins game back in April. And then I was their featured guest at the American Heart Ball also
awesome.
in April. It was just fantastic. So what my message is, I know that I've been blessed to have an incredible recovery, and I know that a lot of people do not have this type of recovery. I understand that, and I am very conscious of that. But, what I want to get across is that you don't have to hold yourself to anybody else's standards. It's all what you want to do. Now, my personal story is, yes, I lost my left side. I was in a wheelchair. I lost my singing voice and ability to sing. And yes, I mean, I did therapy. I worked very, very hard, and then I got into Berklee College of Music 2 years after the stroke. And people didn't believe me. They didn't believe that I could do this. So I remember, people say, "Oh, how are you going to do? You can't do that. You can't even sing. That's the best music college in the world. You can't even sing. You better forget about it." And I remember, there's, "Oh yeah, the music career is kind of, that's it. You better focus on something else." Wow. So I wanted to go to Berklee. I said, "I'm going to do it." And so then I auditioned and I worked hard, and then I got in, and then I started in 2018. And I studied electronic production and design, which is why I produce all these electro swing songs. So
wow, cool.
Really, yeah.
Cool. Well, good for you, showing everyone that you can do what they said that you couldn't. Prove everybody wrong.
That's the thing. A lot of people have this misnomer in their head that stroke survivor is somebody that is walking around in a walker or in a wheelchair, or that they have a twisted face and that they can't do anything, or maybe they're slow, or mentally they're not all there. Something. This is a lot of different misconceptions, and so I'm hoping to shatter those misconceptions.
Yeah.
I think it's very important.
Outstanding. Now, through your recovery, did you have anyone special in your life that helped get you through and was there by your side?
Oh yes, absolutely. My husband Mark.
Oh, I love that name.
Yes.
Must be a great man.
With a name like Mark, he must be.
So. Yes, Mark, he's been there for me since day one. I couldn't ask for anyone better. I mean,
That's
it's
great.
just incredible. He drove me first of all, he slept in my a hospital room at Spalding Rehab every single night on a roll-out bed. So he would go to work and then come in at night, and then he would just be with me every single night. It was fantastic.
Wow,
and
that's
then
amazing.
When we got home, he actually couldn't work for a while because he would drive me my appointments, I had to do outpatient therapy at least 3 times a week. And then after a stroke, you have to get your blood checked because you're on blood thinners. So you have to go. Those appointments were 1 or 2 times a week. So between all of those appointments, he was just basically my full-time caretaker.
Wow.
Now,
Dedication and devotion and a lot of love.
we all need
Yes.
that. We all need that. As you recovered, during that process, you were writing?
Well, yes, I wrote a book. So what I had done was, once I started to get a little bit, I guess you want to say I had enough strength, I started with one hand. I started with my good hand. Thankfully, my paralyzed hand was not my writing hand. So I started to write in the hospital in Spalding, and then I just continued, and I wanted to write like a memoir and put everything down on paper. So for 2 reasons, just to document my recovery, and also to help other people, and then like I said, to shatter the stereotypes.
Yeah. Well, and you brought that book in for us, so
I did.
I'm looking forward to reading that. And we thank you for bringing us gifts. You didn't have to do that.
I did. I wanted
Very
to bring
nice.
you all my CDs so far. I actually have a new CD that's coming out in another month or 2.
Excellent, excellent. So your latest song is called The Illusionist.
Yes.
And then you also have a song that's really popular called Starlight Ballroom.
A pocket full of stardust and a sparkle in your eye. Cruising down the boulevard under a moonlit sky. Escape into a fantasy where all your dreams come true. Place your bet on a falling star in a midnight rendezvous. In the starlight ballroom. Leave your worries at the door. Starlight ballroom. And party like it's 1924. Step inside the mystery. Come on and join the show. You can live a fantasy, no one to tell you no. Tap your feet to the quarter beats and shivers down my spine. It's alright, we got all night and I'm feeling mighty fine. In Starlight, Starlight Ballroom, and party like it's 1924. Scoop up a do ya, dilly. Bop it about a do ya, dilly. Ooh, yeah. Starlight, Starlight Ballroom, leave your worries at the door. Starlight, Starlight Ballroom, and party like it's 1924. Starlight Ballroom, leave your shim on Fifth Avenue. Starlight, Starlight Ballroom, where all your dreams come true.
Yes, and so that's the name of our duo now, because we wanted to. That's the first song that Samuel and I had done together.
I love it. I love
it's
it.
a great little. It's very
That's
retro and vibe. So
Yeah. Again, how do we get your music and find out about where you're going to be?
Okay, sure. So I'm on Spotify. I guess everybody streams now, but I'm on all the platforms: Spotify, iTunes, everything. So you can find my music there. YouTube, stream, anywhere you go. And a lot of my music features Samuel. My latest, the electro swing. So that'd be a real treat to listen to his vibraphone playing.
Yeah,
So,
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and so we just really Spotify, I guess, is probably the main.
Yeah. And then, like you mentioned before, you have Facebook and
Oh, yes,
Instagram,
yeah,
so we can
absolutely.
find out all the info
Yep.
there, Mark.
Yeah.
ValerieGiglio.com. You can go there and find all her socials. You can find her links to her Spotify, and you can get, again, a couple of excerpts to the songs. Go over, stream them, download them.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and you play everywhere from Boston to LA, everywhere in between, and you've been seen playing in Europe quite a bit.
So I played obviously in Boston, the New England area here, and then I've performed a few times in LA. I've also performed in Malta. I've performed in Italy. So in Europe, and hopefully we'd love to perform more in Europe, because as I said, my music partner is Italian.
Wow.
You sing Italian.
I do. I actually sing I've sung in Italian, but I used to have a lot more skills in the Italian language department than I do now. But I'll
Understood,
have to work
understood.
on that. But yes, I have a CD out in Italian.
Excellent.
And what I had done is I wanted to take well-known songs here, that classics like "Killing Me Softly," other songs, a few other songs, Caruso. Well, the Caruso's an Italian song. I wanted to take these and do them in Italian, and then I also wanted to add some maybe tuba fallimentano, which is a swing, like
Sure.
a retro swing song. So you get like a little sampling of different kinds of music on that CD.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. The writing process for this type of music,
Mm-hmm.
does it differ from genre to genre, how you write a song, how you get to there?
Yes. So the other CDs I have were covers that I wanted to do. This one, my new material is primarily original material. So the songwriting process for me, because I produce as well electronically, and I design the sounds as well. So I will start with a beat, usually with a skeleton, and then Samuel and I will maybe work on the chords and then the arrangement, because he also went to Berkeley as well, and he's a master's student at Longy now, so he's
Excellent.
a very good musician, and we just kind of work that way. I'm more on the production end, he's more on the theory and arranging end, so it works perfectly, and that's what we do. So we get things together, and then I add in more, like candy dressing, I guess
Yeah,
you say, like, with the electronic and the effects and the transition.
You deepen the music.
Yes, and then he'll add the space for his we'll add space for his vibraphone solo, and then we'll work from there, and that's how it's been working for us, and just comes naturally, you know. And I love all things retro, so that's another reason why these songs and the melodies and the lyrics can come quickly to me, because of everything I adore, from the movies and the old songs and the old movies and everything retro. It's just natural. I don't have to really stretch to grab an idea.
That's great.
Something.
It is great.
And then I use the language my father would be speaking on when I grew up, because he used to speak like he was from the 40s all the time. So.
And where is your father from?
Well, my father was from Malden.
Okay.
He grew up in Malden. He passed a few years ago, but he was a teacher at the vocational school
no
as
kidding.
well. Yeah,
Okay,
for
excellent.
many years. So.
Excellent. Well,
But-
a lot of our listeners are from Malden. I think
great.
most of my friends should be listening, and if not, I'm going to find out.
Yes, it's
grew
great.
up in Malden
Grew up in
and-
Malden,
yeah.
Linden, actually.
Oh, okay,
Linden,
excellent.
yes.
Yeah. My wife is lifelong family from Malden. So,
Oh, wow,
yeah.
that's really it's a small world, yeah.
My grandfather, a Malden firefighter.
Wow.
Wow.
John's a firefighter here in Winchester.
Oh, really? Okay, excellent.
And your brother's a firefighter now.
My younger brother Matt is a firefighter as well. Yes, up in Salem, Massachusetts.
Wow, that is really such an honorable profession.
It really is,
It
yeah.
really is.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, what you do is honorable too. I mean, you do a lot for the American Heart. You do a lot for the Spalding Rehab. You're a proponent of both of them, so
Well,
thank
yes,
you.
Spalding used to. I haven't done so much with them lately, but I had done a lot when I had just was recovering and I was in Spalding. And I'm happy to do. They really. I mean, I owe everything to Spalding. I mean, it's just they really helped me. I wouldn't be where I am today without the care I received at Spalding Rehab.
Right.
Just phenomenal. The whole team, everything. So I was happy to do that. I think they even had. They had me on their, a couple of ads, I believe, or there was some photos there. And then with the Boston Marathon, they had me on something that was like a poster of some sort. And I think I've did a couple of engagements for them. I like to do public speaking. I've done that in the past, throughout the years here since my stroke. I've made different appearances, different places. I've spoken in a couple of different libraries and some talks for different groups. And I love that, because I love to be able to share my story and to be able to help somebody. And there's always somebody that knows somebody that had a stroke, and that's just a wonderful.
Well, you are the epitome of do not give up. And,
yeah,
and if
you
you can
can't.
share that with other people and give them hope that they can also make that same recovery,
Yes.
then it's worth every time you get to get out there and spread the word.
Well, that's
Please
what you got to do. You can't give up, because if I gave up, I would still be in bed right now.
Yeah.
Who wants that? So I didn't know if I was going to get anything back. I mean, look, I was dizzy for almost a year, 24/7. And I mean, the only way I could survive was on the medication for dizziness, right? I had to learn to walk while dizzy. And, it was really difficult. And,
Yeah.
I said, you got to do it. I pushed myself to do it, because I can't just sit here and wait and say, oh, well, maybe it'll go away. Maybe I'll be okay. Because I'm young. I didn't want my whole life to pass me by and just be, sitting at home. And I also didn't know if I would, and I do remember just visiting somebody medical when I was in the hospital, came in, and I said, oh, am I going to, what am I going to do? Because my face was still droopy,
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, I don't think it's going to go back to normal. And I said, well, geez, you know what I mean? Like, thank God I didn't believe him on that one.
Right.
But, yeah, and
Yeah.
now it's been completely normal. It was like a year after, like a year out, or even less, But sometimes I think that it's easy for people to take things and then just get down and depressed and not believe they can do it. I mean, if I can lose my singing voice and get into Berklee College of Music 2 years later, then anybody can just do what they want to do. You know
Now,
what I mean?
let's spin off of that for a minute.
Yeah.
You have your voice back.
Yes.
Is it easy to showcase in an a cappella setting? Do you get asked to sing a little something, a snippet of something every now and then?
I do.
Do you feel like you're about to be asked that?
I think I am.
For some reason, Mark, I knew that you were kind of going down that road.
But here's the thing. I've not warmed up at all. That's the only caveat with this having the stroke is that it takes me a lot more time to warm up and
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, I can probably just do. What do you want to hear?
Well, just built off of what you just said there, a couple of the guests that we've had have also had issues and have lost their voice and had issues where they had to recover from cancer, thyroid cancer.
Yes.
And the way they spoke, just what you were just talking about, the work it takes. Your voice is an instrument, and it has to be worked at.
Yes.
And, it says a lot about, you do have to sit there and warm it up and have it ready to go.
I mean, I can tell, like, I've been focusing, this whole summer I've been focusing on producing and getting the work out. And so I haven't really been practicing as much as I would like to, and I can tell the difference completely. It's almost like you have to start all over again, and that's what happens. And I find that, like, after the stroke, I mean, yes, I can basically do anything that I did before. When I first got into Berkeley, actually, I couldn't, it wasn't the same, my voice wasn't the same. Now I feel like it's like 99% the same. I can tell a little bit, but for most parts, I guess it's post-stroke, it might be easier for me to go off pitch a little bit more because I never went off pitch before. It's very frustrating when you know what you're supposed to be singing, but my voice doesn't cooperate. But you know what? I just have to say, well, that's me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
so we won't ask you to do that because we don't want you to hurt you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And, people can go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iBooks, and download or purchase the memoir entitled Singing in My Own Key.
I love that title.
A vocalist triumph over stroke.
I love it.
Right? Perfect. I mean, it's all in one package.
Absolutely. Who came up with the title? Was that yours?
Yes, that was mine.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And sales are going well?
Yes, and you know what? I actually haven't, I've been so focused on this new electro swing project that I haven't really
been pushing
this. Yes, but every time I perform, I always end up selling books as well.
Excellent.
So. Awesome. So again, Musicians and Beyond, we're in studio live with Valerie Giglio. She was promoting some of her music, what she has up and coming, her book. I mean, she's got so much going on, and the inspiration behind what happened to her back in 2014, being wheelchair bound in a stroke, literally overnight, at a very young age, and overcoming that and coming back bigger, better, and stronger than ever before.
And we learned how great her husband Mark is.
Yep. So yeah, this was awesome having
Very
Valerie
nice to have you in studio.
in the studio. So Valerie, again, for our listeners, where can they get your book, your music, and tell us quickly again about your new venture with the duo.
Okay, sure. Well, as far as my book, on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, the Amazon and Barnes and Noble online. My music, again, online, you downloading or streaming. And as far as my new duo, yes, we're very, very excited for this collaboration that we've been working on. It's very, very unique. It's very interesting. So I am the singer, and I also play the DJ controller. So because, it's electronic-based music, so I'll do my producing on my computer or whatever. We'll get the songs together and release the song, and then I load it all into the DJ controller, so it's kind of like similar to what you would see like in a DJ setting, except I'm also singing. So I have my headset microphone, and then Samuel is playing the vibraphone, so it's
awesome. I can't wait to hear this. And you know something? When you started talking about your duo, you perked up.
Oh, well,
Absolutely.
You are
I'm
ready
very
to go.
excited.
This is going to do something good.
Here's another interesting thing. One of the things we like to ask our guests for future musicians, for aspiring musicians, is what is, if you had one thing that you could share with somebody coming up, that one thing that you've learned that you think would be important for them to utilize or take from, what would it be?
Well, don't strive to be perfect. Don't think that you're going to get, that you're not, if you don't hit a wrong note or something like that, because really it's art. To be creative, do your art. You know what I mean? That everything else comes. You know, do it. If you're an artist in any kind of medium, not just singing, not just music, just do it. Create. I guess you create, and you can be proud of something that you created, and then see what happens. You know, and then see what happens from there.
Excellent.
I think that's great.
That's
yeah.
some
Great.
good words of wisdom right there, Mark.
Yeah. Absolutely. Don't sweat it. Get out there and,
Absolutely.
and be you.
Do it. Yes.
So yeah, to all our listeners, please follow her. And to all of Valerie's fans, please follow Musicians and
Yeah,
Beyond.
follow us
and-
because you never know where this is going to go. You know, Samuel and Valerie have their new duo, Starlight Vibes.
We just decided on the name like this morning.
Starlight
so this is why
Vibes.
Wow, so are we the first ones to know?
well, you know, well, my husband knows.
Okay.
But, yeah, the first,
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're releasing this to the world.
Yeah, so we're
Starlight
that's why I'm
Vibes.
excited. Yes, Starlight
Absolutely. I
Vibes.
like that.
Awesome. I like it. I can't wait to go and see them, Mark.
They may be on one of our future episodes, so keep listening.
Yes, definitely.
Excellent. Excellent.
Love to have
Well,
you in studio and perform something for us
we would
live. That would be great.
absolutely love to do that. I will tell you that right
and
now.
anything that you have up and coming, any dates,
Yes.
send them to us. And Mark is fantastic promoting everything, and we'll put it on our website and send it out to our listeners. And we kind of like to interweave all our guests and see if we can help everyone out. And,
Thank you so much.
yeah, this has been wonderful. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is
Thank you,
this
Valerie.
has been good.
You know, one of the things we
I like to.
Go, no, you.
No. At the end,
John does it sometimes. Sometimes I do it. But one of the things we like to do.
I like to. At the end, I kind of like to.
You. Well, I thought I did.
No.
Well, I'll let John do it, but I'll just preface it by saying, we have a lot of people come into the studio, but at the end of the conversation, we feel like we're friends. So we like to say, thank you.
Thank you for being our friend.
Oh, well.
Mark, you know what?
That was nice. we did it
Mark,
together.
That was really
Mark, you know what?
nice.
Thank you for being my friend, buddy.
Thank you, John.